All right, so we're going to get to clean a Glock here. This is Glockzilla, my favorite gun I've ever owned in my life. I've got a few guns. I don't have a huge collection like a lot of people do that I'm envious of, but I do have, you know, an AR, AK, shotgun, couple pistols, few pistols, hunting rifle, you know, just a few things. But I'm going to show you how WHAMMY gets down. We clean guns here. I have a big fishing case that you can see here. Okay, that's my cleaning kit, and gotta have these babies here, man. This is my everything when it comes to cleaning the gun. Of course, we got our patches here. And the three things I use: G96, and I use Zero Friction. This stuff right here, this is, I feel like I can't clean my gun if I don't have this, because there's a certain way I lube my Glocks, and any of my handguns I've ever had, there's a certain way I oil it, and this is very important to get in those skinny little spots. And last but not least, the greatest of them all, Hoppies number 9. You can't clean a gun without Hoppies. I don't care what other things you guys use, solvents. I'm sure other stuff works fine, but it'll never have the smell and scent of Hoppies. Best smelling gun cleaning solvent there is on the market. All right, I'm gonna get this stuff here out of the way. I'll put you down here for a moment, and let me get my few of my things together here. I guess that'll do for right now. Yeah. Okay. And my 10mm headpiece there. All right. Okay, let's get started. So, I guess I should show you that. I'm assuming everyone knows how to take apart a Glock, but I guess there are new people. So, this is your takedown levers here. Now, whenever I get ready to take a Glock apart, any gun, I look down the barrel, okay? I've learned that in the past, I used to take a gun and I would rack it 3 times, no matter if it's a bolt action, semi-auto, you know, whatever the case. If I was checking the gun, I would rack it 3 times just to be overly sure. Well, that doesn't help in certain situations, especially with 22 long rifle handguns, semi-auto handguns. The bullets often will get stuck in the chamber. Also, I had a AR-15. The only time I've ever had a negligent discharge, when I was working as a range master at the range, I went to go check. Our rental gun was an AR, and when I went to go check it, and I pulled it back, the charging handle, and I let go. I pulled it back 3 times basically, but on the third pull back and let go, boom, it went off. Of course, I had to point it down range, so it's okay. But, you know, that let me know, okay, just racking it, that's not enough. That was years ago, but you always want to look, and I'll look for about 3 seconds. You've probably seen that, but I'll look just to make sure my eyes aren't deceiving me. You know, I'll look for about 3 seconds, and then I'll be done. You want to pull the trigger, and I'll grab it like this here, and pull this back just enough. You'll hear a click. When you hear that click, you grab these pieces here, pull them down, push this forward, slide comes off. Then you pull your pieces out. Recoil spring, your barrel. Got a nice long 6-inch barrel that I chromed this. So it's the stock barrel, but it's chromed. And here we go. We got everything we need to get started. I'm going to start off here the way I always start off, with some hoppies. And here's what I do. I dip this in the hoppies, my barrel, and I just leave it in there. So while I'm cleaning this and cleaning the slide, this is just soaking in the hoppies. This is how I do it. Everyone has their own way of doing what they do. This is how I do mine. I've seen some people brag about not cleaning their Glocks, and you know, it is awesome that we have guns that are so reliable. You don't have to clean it all the time if you don't want to. That's cool. But I make sure I clean mine all the time. I don't, after every range visit, I clean my gun. It always has to be clean. I was taught that way before I even had a handgun, you know, and I just had a 270 bolt action rifle. Every time you go to the range, it needs to be cleaned. That just reduces any chances of malfunction due to dirt or the metal from the shrapnel from the bullets or whatever. I just go over everything with hoppies here. And these always let me know exactly how dirty my gun was. It's another thing I like about them. You get to see the tip and see, you know, what actually was coming off, and you could see those metal little flakes in there. That stuff was all in the gun. But the beautiful thing about Glock is it's made with such loose tolerances that, you know, that stuff's not typically going to cause a jam anyway. Now, I've seen guns I've seen $1,000 guns, $1,500 guns jam solid. And the reason why they jammed solid was because they were so tight that a little small piece of you know, metal, brass, got caught up in between the barrel, you know, and the slide, and it jammed it solid. I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen with 2 Dan Wessons, because Dan Wessons are made tighter than any 1911 I've ever seen. Those bobtails, Dan Wessons that came out about 6-7 years ago. I had never seen a 1911 with tolerances that tight. And it's a good thing, but then to me, in a way, it's a bad thing, because that's the kind of gun that, you know, it is to me, it's either a safe queen or just a ranged toy. It's not something I'm going to keep on me all the time, because if it gets in the dirt, if anything gets in there, we know it's going to jam solid. I like loose tolerances. I don't care for real tight tolerances. And the other thing is, you know, A Glock is accurate enough for what you need to use a handgun for. So, you know, other guns, they talk about the accuracy. Look, I've shot honestly pretty much every handgun you can think of, pretty much. I'm sure there's some I haven't, but there's not many at all. And, you know, accuracy is, it's the same. The shooter, you know, usually the gun shoots better than the person anyway. So from what I've seen, it's that whole accuracy. Oh, this gun's more accurate than that one, blah, blah, blah. If you can shoot good enough, you know, like me, I can shoot good with anything. I'm not saying I'm the best shot in the world, but I can get the job done with any handgun you put in my hand accurately. So as far as those extreme tight tolerances, no, I'd rather it be loose. My whole thing is reliability. Just work. Just work. I'll take care of the rest. All right. So for the top here, I've pretty much gotten in here and gotten the hoppies all through. And now I'm going to take another Q-tip and just dry where I wet. Everywhere that I took that hoppies, I'm going to take this and just wipe it down. Sometimes you get a little bit of hair caught in there. Just make sure I pull that out. I don't like that stuff being stuck in there, so I'm pretty careful about that, having stuff left in there. Leftovers. Almost done here with the bottom, the frame. Almost done. For a while there, I was out of the gun loop. You know, gun news and whatnot. I was just out of it. I hadn't kept up with what was new and whatnot, and I was just got caught up in just the life of work and family, all that good stuff, and then I ended up with cancer, pancreatic cancer. I'm gonna flip this over. Pancreatic cancer, and that just changed my life, obviously. And the time being down and recovering, I'm still recovering. I still have my hospital robe. I've got a year recovery time. It says 6 months to a year. I've actually reached my 6 months, but unfortunately I'm still going through some things, but I'm fighting. And I'm getting better. But, you know, with this downtime, I just kind of got back into my hobby. And having fun with it all over again. Now, shooting is something that, it's not something I discovered as an adult. I've seen a lot of people that are, especially people that are in the industry, a lot of people that are in the industry, they didn't start, you know, getting into guns until they were adults. Kind of surprises me a lot with some of the guys that you see out there. Specifically, Colin Orr. You know, as much information as that guy has, he didn't start shooting until he was like 25 years old. That's a trip. But at least it started. Better that it started than it didn't at all, you know. We need people, especially people who are lawyers and things of that nature, to be on our side for the Second Amendment. Heck yeah. You know, and he seems like an intelligent person. We need as many of those as possible. And the thing about it is, most people who are pro Second Amendment, they are intelligent people. Most of them are. Or else they wouldn't even have the ability to have their license to even get a gun, you know, in the places that you do have to have your license. They've already proven that they're, you know, law-abiding citizens. And nowadays, you know, to go through life without going to jail, that means you've got at least a very basic level, some sort of common sense. But I grew up, you know, this is a family thing. I was born into this. My mom, dad, grandfather, they all introduced me into this world of firearms. And my dad was having he had to make a decision when he wanted to bring me into it. That's every parent's decision, you know. The thing is, you got to know your child. You know, where are they at? Are they still at the stage where they're having a hard time listening? You know, are they very quick to listen? Are they very good listeners? You just know your child. And with that being said, when you know your child very well, then you can determine when you think it's okay to introduce your child into firearms. With that being said, for whatever reason, my dad chose the age of 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, I was able to shoot the .22, and then they seen I was very good with that. Then I was able to shoot my mother's .357 Magnum at 8 years old. I loved it. And my grandpa had what's called a cleaning room, a gun room, where he reloaded his bullets, had everything. You know, he did all his own reloading and everything. He passed away 6 years ago now. I miss him a lot. There's some things that I never got to do with him. Certain things that he didn't teach me, like rabbit hunting. You know, he taught me deer and big game hunting. He taught me big game hunting. Even hunting grouse. But I never got to go duck hunting. You know, hunting with a shotgun. I never got to do that. I never really went target practicing with a shotgun, period. I did, you know, when we go out into the woods ourselves and we just bang along with however we want to do. But as far as, like, you know, throwing the clay pigeons up in the air and shooting them and stuff like that, I never got to experience that. I never got to experience any bird hunting. But I plan on doing that. Alright. So I've cleaned, I've got in there pretty good. I can see the tips and see how dirty they were. You know. I only shot like 100 rounds. It's not extremely dirty or anything. But since we're recording this, you know what? I was thinking about taking it down and cleaning, you know, the firing pin, getting all the way down in there, but I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. I'm just going to do a basic clean so you guys see this. The video is not too long. Alright, so I'm taking this out. Okay. And I'm just going to go through here. with the brush and just loosen up any of the dirt and grime that's in that barrel. Now the good thing is it was soaking in hoppy, so it's lifted a lot of the dirt already anyway. So now I go through there and I scrape it up some more. Unscrew this, throw this on. And grab my cloths, put it on top of there, and you go through. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Pretty much black. I'm going to go through again. It really lifted that stuff up in there. Boom. So this time, you know, you still see the dirt. Wasn't as much. Just kind of dried it down. And you see, look up at the light there. Actually, it did a decent job just that alone. But now what I'm going to do is get some of my G96. I love this stuff. This, to me, does like the perfect job of cleaning and lubricating. But I don't use it as the cleaner just by itself. I gotta use the hoppies. Nothing gets that dirt up like that hoppies. I've tried a lot of different solutions, but nothing works as good as hoppies to me. Okay, so put some of that on there. Stick it on there. I love the way that stuff smells. I'm weird. Go through there. Boom. Look at that. See that? So now that I went through there again with that, I'm going to go back through and scrub one more time. You know, it's just like wiping your butt. You know, you know, I and get those wipes, those booty wipes that are like baby wipes for adults, and you get some of that and get some toilet paper, and you go back and forth with that until you cleaned it good and swell. Don't want any stripes in your drawers, right? All right. Went through there. Sometimes I'll go the opposite way. Sometimes I'll also go in through that way and come out just for the hay, but don't always do it. All right, 2 more of these. Here we go. Boom. Dark. Look at that. And one more here. And this time, actually, I am going to go through the front just with drying it. I'm going to go this way. Okay. And one more. One more to make sure it's all the way dry. But it's been lubricated. And we're not going to take all the lubrication off, but we do want to make sure it's dry. Boom. And let me take a look up at the light. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That looks nice. That looks very nice on the inside. That looks great. Alright. I'm just going to wipe down. And I'm not going to use a separate you know, anything to dry this off, I'm gonna use what I already have. And you know, one of my old previous job, one of the funnest jobs I've ever had was, as I mentioned before, I was a range master for about 5 years. And one of the fun things about that is just cleaning guns all day, you know. After a while, honestly, you kind of get tired of it. You know, don't feel like cleaning much now. And the guns I dislike to clean the most were those 22s, like the buck marks and stuff like that. They just, once you get it down, it's one thing. Once you get it down, you get it down. But it's not simple to do. Let me put it this way. It's not simple to put it back together. It's simple to take it apart. To put it back together, it's not. You know, I always had a problem. And finally, I had got it down. But just no fun. 1911s, when I first learned about those, as far as how to take them apart and clean them, you know, I almost had the same thought there. Like, why didn't they just make this simple, like how Glocks are? I mean, everything from an HK, SIGs, you know, even most Tauruses, you know, they're easy to take apart and clean. 1911s, at first, when I first learned, it was like, why is it so difficult? But once you learn it, it's so easy. I mean, very easy. One day I'll do a video of taking one apart and putting it back together as fast as I can. I did that with a Glock, and I did it in 12 seconds. Taking it completely apart, bringing my hands up, putting it back together, and then locking the slide back to the rear with the mag in, 13 seconds. Starting with the mag in the gun. Not 13, excuse me, 12 seconds. So now we're coming to this. I cleaned the barrel. I cleaned this. I cleaned this. I did not go down into the firing pin where I would take the back plate off, pull this out, pull this out, pull this out, take the firing pin out, go in there and clean everything. I did not do that this time. After my next range visit, I probably will. Once every 3 or 4 range visits, I'll go deep and really clean inside there. You know, take this pin out, pull this up, and really clean inside. Right now, I don't need to do that. So now I'm going to take my best friend here. I love this guy. And dip in there just a little bit. Don't need a lot. Do not need a lot of this. I was at a gun store, and there was a guy there. Actually, the gun store I bought this from, and the guy said, I use lots of, I oil the hell out of my guns, my Glocks. I'm like, I don't put a lot of oil in. It's not helping. A lot of oil is not helping at all. Wherever you see friction at, wherever you see that there's the metal is starting to slightly wear off, you know, that's where you want to just put small dabs of oil on. That's where the metal to metal is going on. You're just oiling that, just like a car engine. You know, that's what you're oiling. So I oiled that. Don't need to do much more oiling, honestly. I don't oil any more than that. Oh, here we go. So I put the slide back in. Gonna take the recoil spring, push forward until it drops down in there. Okay. And go here. Looks like everything is good. Just taking a double look here. Little piece of hair from the cotton swab. Take that out. And line it up here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is cycle that oil through there. Now that I've done that, that oil has worked its way from here to here, and that's what you want. And I'm just going to put a little bit more in and do it one more time, just a tad. So like I said, I don't put much in there anyway. Once you put a lot of oil in there, to be honest with you, all you're doing is making it harder to clean. Next time you clean it, you're going to have more to clean. It's not helping, because a lot of people are putting oil in spots that it doesn't need oil. There is no metal on metal moving in a lot of the areas that these guys are putting oil. It's just useless oil, and it's just going to cause a bunch of dirt balls and gunk. That's all it's going to do. Boom. All right. And just take one of these. I'm just going to wipe it down here. Mods I've done to this gun, I've done, as you can see, it's stippled. And everybody has their opinions on stippling. Some hate it. And that's with anything, right? Some people think it's stupid to modify your car. Some people love to modify their cars. Same with guns. There's always going to be people who like it and don't like it, and that goes with all things in life. So don't get butthurt when somebody tells you that your stippling job is stupid. That's just their opinion. Just like assholes, everyone has one. Alright, wiped it down here, wiped it down in the front. Perfect. And I'm weird, and I will always do this as long as I live. Whenever I clean a handgun, I will always smell inside of here. I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to smell it. It just lets me know how well I clean my gun. There's a certain smell I have consistently every time I clean my gun. If it does not smell how I know it should, I will take this thing apart and re-clean it. But it has the smell. Perfect. Alright, so Glockzilla is clean and ready to defend the house once again. Actually, I don't use my Glock to clean my house. I mean, to clean my house, yeah. Clean my house, huh, with my gun. Looks like I can shoot over there and clean some stuff up. No, not to clean it to defend, but I don't use my handgun to defend my house.